I played the first game of singles and I was like, oh, I'll do this for the rest of my life if I can.
Controversy about the line.
Yeah, it happens like pretty much every match. Should not be an option anymore. The prize money is getting bigger.
Your paddles got tested.
A little wake-up call for me. Everybody heard one part of the story, but nobody even asked, like, hey, what happened? Like, why?
Mental preparation.
It's like non-stop in there. We're 10-2 up, and all of a sudden it's 10-7. You let that wallow longer than 15 seconds, it's coming with you in the next point.
What legacy you want to leave behind within pickleball?
Age is just a number. Old and young is just a word. I hope I can prove to a lot of people that please go out there. Please be active.
Welcome to today's episode, where we sit down with one of pickleball's most skilled and talked about players. Get ready for an unfiltered conversation as she shares her journey, insights, and candid thoughts.
My name is Salome Devidze, and thank you so much for having me.
It's really a pleasure having you on the show. For the people who's not familiar with you, we can start with your story.
Well, pickleball story only began like less than 2.5 years ago. But yeah, it's not a thing that. But well, I started playing tennis when I was 5 years old. Back home in Georgia, I have two older brothers that were already playing tennis, and I just grew up on the course. And one day it was like, hey, she's playing tennis now. It was really never a beginning day that I started playing tennis, and we moved to Portugal for a year, 7, to continue my tennis. Lived a year in Portugal, lived in Paris a little bit, lived in Geneva a little bit, all for my tennis, traveling. At one of my tournaments when I was 8 years old, very nice gentleman from New York City saw me play and wanted to sponsor me. So we came to America, we came to Florida, as all the tennis players go there, and we moved to Chris Evert Tennis Academy, lived there for 8 years, trained there, turned pro at 16, traveled the world. I think I've been to 42 countries because of my tennis by now, and became 215 in the world in singles and doubles. It was amazing. I mean, the experience is unparalleled, and it taught me so much. I'm so lucky and so grateful for all the opportunities I had, but there came a time where my body said just enough, and tennis is very, very demanding on anyone's body, and mind and body, but the body had enough. So in 2020, when COVID hit, I stopped, and I started building RVs.
Building RVs?
Yeah. Natural continuation of tennis.
Yes, of course.
COVID hit, right? It was bad, travel was bad, and I have a brother who lives in Columbus, Indiana. And me, my mom, and my other brother, we all lived in Florida. And my mom wanted to travel to see her son and her grandkids. I had a big SUV, and I actually bought a small RV, and I said, we're going to take a road trip, spend a couple months there, and come back. By the time we got there, like, I kind of got to know this RV, the one that we had, and I was sitting there, and then I was like, this is nice, but I can do so much better. And at that point, I had never built anything in my life or renovated anything or held a saw in my hand or anything.
And you decided to do it.
We got there, I said, I'll be right back, and I drove to Home Depot and looked around, and I was like, yep, I can build one. Sold that RV, went to nearest dealership and got me those Ram Pro Masters, they look like a Sprinter, like a Mercedes Sprinter.
Oh yes, the vans.
Yeah, the van. It was empty. I think it used to be a delivery cargo or something.
Yeah. And
I just started building. Built my first one. I uploaded pictures to Facebook, and somebody offered me a lot of money. At that point in COVID, everybody was buying everything. And I was like, yeah, take it. It's yours. And so I sold that, bought another one, built it again, did it 5 times. Different sizes, different models. I actually have one right now that is 80% finished. And that's, I built that. But that was, when I was at 80% finished, that's when I started pickleball. And then stayed at 80%. And I think for like 2.5 years now, I've been saying, I'm going to finish it. But
it's like one of those side projects that never gets finished.
Never gets finished. But I have used it to go into tournaments. That I have it, a few different places. And it's always nice because it is your bed. I mean, this is literally my bed because I built it. But it is still your bed. When I go with an RV, I can have my dog with me. And it's just nice. It is a lot of driving. But it is sometimes a really nice change from a hotel. we're in a different place every week. We're in a different bed in different hotel every week, and sometimes you just need
Familiarity.
you just need it.
It helps you center yourself.
Yeah.
So it seems like you just transitioned from tennis and build RVs, and then it's transitioned to pickleball.
Well, 2021 summer, I had one of those RVs, and then we went to see my brother in Indiana again, and the RV was like half finished. Now they have a yard, and I kept working on it. So he pops in my RV and he says, "I'm going to play pickleball. Somebody canceled. Can you be our fourth?" At this point, I had never held a paddle in my hand. And I'm like, I'm busy. I was like, please, please, please. So I go there, and my brother is 7 years older than me, and all the players he was playing with were about his age, and my brother is an attorney. I believe the one person there was, I don't know, a banker or also an attorney, and we started playing, and my first thought was like, you're three grown men. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And I looked at my brother, and I was like, both of my brothers played incredible tennis, played Division I. My older brother coached me on tour for 2 years. And I was like, you gave up that to do this? Like, what is happening here? So, but immediately they were like, you're so good, so I think somebody told me, if you try really hard, you can even be like top 20 in the world. And I was like, really? I mean, like, no. So we left there, and I didn't touch a paddle for 6 months. Like, it wasn't like, I hear the stories like they played one time and pick it up immediately and gone. And then January came around, and I got a text from my brother, George, same brother, and he said, when we left here, I thought about it. So signed us up for those lottery, and he goes, I just got an email that we got picked. We were in 19 and over 4-5 mixed doubles. And he said, can you please go start practicing? It's only like 3 months away. So I was like, okay. I think I had just sold one of my RVs, so I had to look at the minute in like a week or two in between. I was going to get the next one. I Googled closest park and, pickleball park. And apparently Jupiter, Florida has pickleball courts everywhere.
Surprise.
So I drove the closest one and got on the courts and just started playing. And I think third day or something, one of the guys said, while we're waiting, do you want to play singles? And he said, I'll take it easy because I've been playing singles for a lot, competing singles. Like, do you want to do this? And I played the first game of singles, and I was like, oh, I'll do this for the rest of my life if I can. I think he was like 4-5 or something, and I beat him 11-0 the first time I played singles. Yeah. And I was like, this feels right. I was like, this feels great.
You're converted.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'll do this. And I just started playing. We ended up playing US Open, me and my brother, 4-5. We got gold. It was so much fun being on the court with my brother. It was very special. Actually, the only time my mom watched me play pickleball. She hasn't seen me since then. It was really a lot of fun. And then on my 6th week of playing pickleball, I won my first pro gold medal.
Wow, that fast.
But again, singles, the first time I got on the court, like, I just saw it. Like, I could see the angles. I could see the openings. I was very worried that everything that hurt in tennis, my lower back, would come back and hurt me. But in tennis, the serve was hurting me a lot. Every time I served, jumped, and landed on my left leg, it felt like my body was shutting down. And there's no serve in pickleball, so.
Yeah, so you're able to keep playing. During your rise, did you get any coaching?
Not in the beginning. 3-4 months when somebody said, oh, do you know who Natalie Waters is? And I'm like, no. They're like, Ben Jones. I'm like, I have no idea. And then I started looking and I realized, coming from tennis, I didn't know much about pickleball, but you do have the eye to notice things. And the first time I've seen, those girls play, Catherine, Leah, Anna Lee, all those, immediately I said, these players are not playing rack games. They're trained. The shots they're hitting, it doesn't come because they go out and have fun on local club for an hour. These shots are trained. And I started looking around, and I also, talked to a few girls and guys who lived within 45 minutes of me and said, let's start practicing, let's start training. And then I did get coaching, and since then I've had coaching, yeah.
Once you take it more serious, then you decided inside your heart to go professional?
When I won my first gold, it was for fun. me and my coach sent me a link, and I watched my first goal the other day. It's hilarious. I mean, literally, I must be a 3-0. Like, maybe. I have no idea how whoever I was playing wasn't, like, killing me. But even then, looking back, like, I did see the openings. I did hit those shots. I mean, I was already doing it. But it was pure on field, pure on like, whatever my gut was telling me. It was not planned. It was not strategy. It was just swinging, basically. The more I played singles and the more I competed, more I fell in love. In the beginning, it wasn't like, oh my God, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, the more I played, the more I competed, more it became my own.
Build up over time. It wasn't like instant.
No, absolutely not. I think my tennis is too rooted in me for something to change it that quick.
No, it totally makes sense. So what is your training regimen look like right now?
Right now I'm on vacation in Vegas, so I stayed up till 3 a.m. yesterday.
That's not the training.
So that changes basically week to week, because when you're at a tournament, it's completely different versus when you're at home and training. When I'm at home, I will try to play 3-4 hours a day at least, and do fitness at least 1 or 2 hours. I played my entire first year of pickleball without doing literally a single hour of fitness, because I didn't feel like I was doing just fine without it. But few other things, like my body started telling me that I need to get. I don't think I was like unfit. It was just like I was playing pickleball, and whatever shape it got me in, it was good. And I think naturally I can last a long time, and long matches benefit me than my opponents. And long days, I'm good with long days because I can last. But then I started training, and I started doing more research. So I don't have a fitness coach. I do all my fitness. I did start doing more research on, like, I know tennis fitness really well, but I started doing more research on, like, the muscle groups and stuff I need from pickleball. I mean, you don't stay that low in tennis ever. And here you're hours and hours, literally inches away from the ground. And I started working on different muscle groups. I'm doing, like, way, way more Pilates, sprints, and all the other stuff. It just changed a little bit. The hours is 2 hours when I'm home doing fitness between Pilates, and I belong to Lifetime. Yes. So I go do the alpha classes, and I do the GTX classes and all those things, and then I'll get on the court and do very specific stuff. Retrain my body to shuffle way more up there versus in tennis. Ball is wide, you take one, but you're running the entire time. You're not running as much in pickleball versus you're adjusting so much more in pickleball. So definitely adjusting my fitness.
Your training right now is every day, or what does your week look like right now?
I will look out about 5 days a week when I'm training at home, and then it will taper down if it's a week before a tournament. So I give myself, if I'm playing next Thursday, if I know I'm going to play next Thursday, from the Friday before, it will taper down, where when it comes to Monday, and sometimes I do train on Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, there's definitely no training, except I'll do specific sprints on the court. I'll get to the tournament, and then you'll see me in, like, last court, court number 35, doing sprints on my own, because I just know that I know my game, and I know how important sprints and footwork and just being comfortable to move to the ball is for me.
Nutrition plays a huge part. Could you speak a little bit about that?
I'm not saying it is a huge thing for everybody, and every athlete, but for me, that's huge. I became plant-based 10 years ago, so I'm raw plant-based right now. Let's say that whatever I'll say is not a medical advice, and please don't start doing this right now at home, because it took me a long time to train my body to function the way I function. Let's say on Thursdays when I'm expecting to have like 4 or 5 matches, I will not eat entire day.
Fasting.
Absolutely. Fasting. I will have water with lemon juice in it for electrolytes the entire day, and I will have about 3 or 4 dates in my bag in case I like dry dates in my bag if I need it. But apart from that, that is the only thing. Like when I was in Texas and we played at like 10 p.m., my family, all they were texting me was, it's 10 p.m. and you haven't eaten, right? That they knew that was the biggest worry then what I'm going to do in actual court. But again, it took me going through a lot of education, a lot of detoxing my body, training my body to do this. So all the players competing out there, please do not just stop eating. It will hurt you. when I'm at home and training, I don't eat breakfast, and I will eat lunch will be fruit, whatever's in season. If I was stuck on an island, I would take watermelon with me to survive for the rest of my life. I love it, but whatever's in season, depending where we are. In Vegas here, you want to be eating way more watery fruit because it's so dry. Somewhere where it's humid, you like bananas and stuff like that. And then I'll have a salad with avocado and something for dinner. I do about once every 3 months get a blood test and nutrition test, make sure that it's all good. And I think I'm not that young. I am, almost double the age, not most, but some of the players I play against. And my nutrition is at least 80% the fact that I can last with them and play with them more than my fitness. My fitness, absolutely, and everything I've learned and how I train my body. But nutrition is the fact that I can survive and do this. And
that's amazing.
I'm very, very lucky. The way I found it, this kind of lifestyle, isn't the best. My mom got sick, and that was our only option to survive. But the outcome was incredible.
And it seems like everybody could tell by your performance.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Came there.
Speaking of matches, recent match with NLE Waters. I'm sure it was a very exciting match.
It was exciting, but I got the same question. How do you feel when I got off? And the very, very honest answer is, I don't feel anything. I didn't feel anything. But in any sport, I think this is true to any sport, especially when in tennis or pickleball or any individual sports like this. If you win a match, you have to go and get off, go back to work and work harder because they're trying to beat you next time. If you lose a match, you better get off and work even harder because they're going to try to beat you again. So that is the real answer. I think it was a good match. I played well. I had a plan in my head and I was executing it, and I felt really good. She is incredible. I know you guys watch her on TV, but when you're standing on the other side and the shots she's hitting and the speed that she's moving and that feeling you have that as you're hitting, she knows where it's going, it is the most amazing thing to be part of. I think there's a shot in there at my game point, which is already nerve-wracking for any regular player because it's somebody's game point. She had a twinner that was basically a winner that I hit an incredible lob. And you know that your opponent coming up with shots like that, it's nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking, and it takes an extra mental control to not let things like that happen. It takes extra foot speed to cover her shots. It takes extra decision-making for her to kind of keep her off foot. I mean, the first time I saw her play, I was like, I started playing tennis when I was 4 or 5, actually, probably even younger. And when you start something that young, there's sort of anticipation of the game that comes with it. It doesn't matter if you go on to become number 1 in the world or become number 1,000 in the world. The anticipation, it's natural. You grew up with it. It's also almost like, you know how young kids learn languages really easy? It gets harder. So as you get older, and you're sort of learning the language of that sport, whatever you're putting in. You see kids doing gymnastics when they're 3, and it's so natural. We tried doing gymnastics now. It's going to be awful, even though we can probably know everything about it. And she's that natural. She's that kid that started that young, and it's amazing to watch. I'm glad I won it. I'm glad it's there, but it doesn't take away what an incredible athlete she is.
You face so many great players. Thinking back on your pickleball career, even though it's short, is there any highlight moments that stands out?
Honestly, winning the first goal was incredible. Playing well as my first PPA, I think it was Utah, summer of 2022. I played Catherine, and I did win that match. I think she was number 2 in the world at the point, so it was incredible. But I just remember being in complete awe while I was playing her on the court, and I'm still, every time I play Catherine or watch Catherine, I think I'm still in complete awe of things she does on the court. I because of my background of the way I see the game, I can understand how Anneli plays way more than I can understand Catherine playing. It's just that she plays a different style and different game. I think she's incredibly talented, so that was definitely a highlight, playing her the first time. I don't know, I feel like last 2.5 years, It's been a highlight after highlight, and I'm so grateful for every moment.
It's just all blend together as one giant highlight. Is there any surprise that feels like there's more room for improvement?
I think there's a huge space for improvement for professional pickleball, just in general. I mean, everybody's doing, really well, and I know that they're working hard, and I know they're learning every single day, every single tournament, something happens. I mean, the amount of weather we faced in Texas, it was just mind blowing, and you saw, starting from Connor, the owner, to a regular ref, and all the employees, all the volunteers, just cleaning courts and trying to get on the court, and everybody's trying hard. Now, having said that, there's plenty of room for improvement. I come from tennis, which is much older, and they already went through all this. A lot of times I'll ask a question, something, or I'll complain, which I should not, but I'll complain, and the answer I get is, we're so new. And that is right. They are so new. They're learning. And sometimes in my mind, I go, well, tennis made all these mistakes. Can't we just learn from all the mistakes, they made? But of course, it's not the same sport. Of course, it doesn't translate the same. And the biggest thing I'm understanding now, it's not that it doesn't make same mistakes. We're not in the same era as when tennis went through those mistakes. We're in completely different kind of time and space, and the way the crowd, the way the fans see it, I don't know, let's go back to the 80s when tennis was growing and all this as a professional sport, or you bought a ticket, you went and watched it, you probably liked something, you didn't like it, you went home and you probably talked it over dinner what you just saw, and you moved on. And now we have the social media where one tiny thing goes wrong, the internet just blows up and everybody writes exactly what they think, and the all this, PPA, MLP, they're all under way more scrutiny and way more pressure on them. Maybe other sports back in the day made all the same mistakes. We didn't see all that, but now we see everything on this way.
Yeah, everything's magnified under social media. Speaking of social media, it seems like there's some controversy about the line.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that?
Absolutely. I mean, that is improvement. If you want improvement, it's like right there. That's facing every professional tour, whether it's teams or individuals, in their face that, it happens like pretty much every match. And it's really tough. The balls are getting faster, the paddles are getting faster, and athletes are getting faster. We're learning more about pickleball. We're getting better. We just cannot go on calling our line. It just should not be an option anymore. The prize money is getting bigger. Now, a lot of those contracts, for example, the players have with their sponsors, it's match prize money. So let's say that if you win this match, your prize money goes to $1,000. Let's just give it a number. And you just know your sponsor is going to match it. That's $2,000. You have a ball that is or in or out for $2,000. You're going to call it. You're going to call it. I mean, it's just human nature. You're going to call it. But if we were in a position where we had absolutely no control over call, if we had a line judge or a computer system calling that, like they do in tennis, that you don't even think about it. That is not even our brain process. I think our games, our match play will get, our standards and level will get much better if we had somebody else calling lines, because that is not part of your thought process.
While the player can focus on the game.
Yeah, because if you have absolutely no way of calling that line, you're just playing.
How do you handle these controversies mentally?
I think I heard somebody got asked, some celebrity got asked, like, how do you deal with all this media and stuff? And they're like, we don't even read most of it, and most of the stuff are just people's opinions and people's thoughts. They have no idea how you felt in the moment. They have no idea what you saw in the moment. And they said something today, and the next day they said something else about somebody else, and it goes away. You just have to work hard, do your thing, do what you love. And if you love it enough, if you love pickleball enough, it doesn't matter what people say. You will go and do the work, and you'll try to get better. And I said, since I decided I'm going to stick to this and play pro, which was basically, I was already playing pro 8 months when I said, okay, I'm going to really do this. I said, if I step on the court and I get 1% better or even 0.5% better every time I practice or play, and whatever else happens doesn't matter.
Well spoken.
Little bubble, sort of stay within your own little.
Well, you kind of need that in order to focus, in order to become the best within your field.
Yeah.
I thought we can share a little bit of your side story because there was a little bit news about your paddles got tested.
Yeah. I think that was a little bit, I don't know, a little wake-up call for me. That was the way, I guess, the world or pickleball worked. Everybody heard one part of a story, but nobody even asked, like, hey, what happened? Like, why? But again, I played a great match and I knew that my paddle was fine. I have had happen to me when I went on the court or like an hour before the match, I realized my paddle was delaminated and that match was not, but just like it has happened. And I know me personally, I cannot play with even tiny bit delaminated paddle. Like not even, my ball just stops going into court and it starts flying, 4 or 5 feet. Usually if I make a mistake, it's maybe half a foot or a few inches. That's just part of my game. But when I'm practicing or playing, I'm making mistakes 5 feet out or 5 foot wide. There's something not right. I mean, I could be feeling off, but not that much off. We were playing in Utah. It was high altitude. Ball was already flying like crazy. My ball was going in, and I knew my paddle was fine. I got really attacked on that day, but you know how drama sells, right? The bad stuff got magnified. Behind the scenes, I was getting texts and emails from people I've never met and around the world, thousands of them saying, we support you, we love your game. And so that, thank you everybody for that. And that made me feel great and I knew I was fine. I think the part that I was upset about that, and more upset later because I found out that the paddle testing was done within 72 hours after my match. And I only got an answer 2.5 weeks later or something. So it was so much of waiting and not unsure. And I think I had some of the sponsors kind of sort of asking questions and all that. But it worked out fine. And I played with, it was a Vedic paddle. And I played with that Vedic paddle for almost the rest of that year. And it didn't fail one single time.
What are you playing with right now?
I've been playing since January. I've been playing with the Paddle Tech.
Paddle Tech.
The Annalie Waters C version. So when I was playing in Atlanta, there was progressive draws. And I played a quarterfinal match. And that paddle, it tested in the morning, played a match, had it tested in the evening. I was worried, so I had tested, it passed. Come back the next morning, paddle fails. I buy my paddles, you usually get on Amazon. I have so many Amazon points by now. I always joke that Amazon is my paddle sponsor because I keep using the point to buy more and more paddles. Or I buy it at the store when I am, it's called Pickleball Central, at the store when I get it. And they ran out of the 12 point, I think it's 12.7. So they ran out. I literally scrambled around and somebody gave me a paddle. Now, I'm very, very particular with my paddles. The weight and the balance. Any tournament I have a scale with me, a lot of lead tape, and a balance board. That, I used to do my tennis racket. I learned when I was very young to do my own tennis racket thing in pickleball. I'm very particular with it. So, unfortunately, when I went out to semifinals, it wasn't my paddle and it felt horrible. Mainly, I was disappointed because there was a big crowd and I didn't give them the match, a really good match to watch. Paris is an incredible player, and losing to her was fine because she was playing incredible that week. But it was just not a good match for fans to watch, and I was upset. I went out, and the next morning, I was demoing different paddles because nobody had my paddle, and the store had same paddle, the Annalie Waters, but a 14 millimeter one, and I had never hit with it.
Yes.
I took that paddle straight to the court, and first time when I played the bronze match against Leia, and took that paddle and just played a bronze match with a paddle I had never played. So,
aside from paddle, anything else, other equipment that you use?
People from this company called the One Glove, only because it has my name on it. They first approached me and said, "Hey, try this." I was like, no, not really. I'm a professional. I really don't need a glove, but asked me again, and I started trying it. Yeah. And about 3 days into trying it, I was like, I don't think I can play without this anymore.
What's the main difference?
So it's really thin, and it's made where it's a man-made suede. It's basically it's tacky. So you're holding it a little tighter without squeezing your hand. Because when I play tennis, I would like that squeeze that racket, and I do the same thing in paddle. That slows down. Actually, squeezing paddle hard actually slows down your hands, and a lot of problem that people have with tennis elbow or neck comes from there. So this is very tacky, and the sweatier my hand becomes, the tackier the glove becomes, and the feedback is immediate. So because the top of the fingers are actually completely bare, it's not actually covered. Your nerve endings are in your fingertips. When you hold the paddle, you still get all the feel. You get the feedback when the ball hits the paddle, and to me, in my brain, it gave me incredible hand awareness and incredible feedback. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll start playing it. And I don't know, the relation with the brand grew more and more, and I love being part of them. And it's one of the most unique products on the market, I think, right now.
So that's the only thing you use right now?
That is the only thing I use. I mean, I'm part of Turn-A-Grip team, and I've used Turn-A-Grip all my tennis career, and it was only normal for me to keep using it.
I guess so for anybody aspiring to become a pro, any advice you have for them?
Have fun with it. I mean, really have fun with it. If you don't love it, you're not going to go back and practice every day. I mean, obviously, the real answer is you need to practice a lot. You need to spend, it needs to become part of your life every single day. You need to watch videos. You need to really learn, not just your opponent's game. That is the last part. You need to learn your game. You need to know how you tick when you're on the court and be aware of things. And things will not, most of the time, will go bad. Most of the time, it will not be good.
Yes.
But if you can be aware of things are going badly, you can accept it and you can fix it. But when I say, let's say go out and enjoy it and have fun, because if you're not loving it, it's too much of hard work. Anyone that's coming in, if you don't love the process, you're not going to make it, because at some point it will become too much for you.
Yes.
You have to love the process. The end outcome, and like I said before, end outcome is winning a great match. You got to go work harder because they're all coming after you. If you lose, you got to work harder because they're going to try to beat you again.
Do you have any mental preparation when you're going into the match?
Yes, 100%. The mental part is a huge part of my game. One point in time it's very easy to say, and it sounds very simple. I say, if I have 30 seconds between points, right? And let's say I just played a bad point, I give myself between 10 and 15 seconds to be negative and upset about the last point. And the more I train my mind, the better I get. That becomes 5 seconds. It becomes 7 seconds. And the rest of time till I serve or till they serve again, it needs to work on what's coming. That first 10, 15 seconds in my mind needs to be what I can fix, what went wrong, and the next what's coming. If you let that wallow even a second longer than 15 seconds, if you have 30 seconds in between points, it's coming with you in the next point.
You got to play each point as a new.
And the score cannot matter. It is much easier said than done, and I mess up that all the time. How many times have I been like 9-2 up or 10-2 up, and all of a sudden it's 10-7, 9-7? Only because my mind's saying, oh, we're doing great. We're doing great here. We're going to win. Or, it's been 4-4, 5-5, and they just won 4 points because I had a chance to make it, let's say, 6-5 me. I didn't, and my mind's like, oh, come on, you had a chance, and now you got to fight. It's like nonstop in there.
The mental dialogue.
Absolutely nonstop. It gets very busy inside.
When you're on the court, your biggest opponent is not who's across.
Absolutely.
It's you.
I think if you can control your mind, you will control the game. And
yes.
It's not easy. It's so many other inputs, especially if you're playing, let's say you're playing on a championship court and there's crowds screaming. And they could be yelling for you. They could be yelling against you. They're on camera. I mean, I remember I got asked this question, but it was funny, but it was an honest answer. I remember playing Catherine at the Indoor Nationals, and I don't know what the score was, but it was in the third game, and I was standing in the corner that she took a timeout. I was standing in the corner staring at a screen board, and it looked like I was really concentrating and stuff, but the only thought that kept coming to my mind was like, you're on TV. I kept thinking, you're on TV, and I don't know why that thought was, because I've been on TV for like last 2 hours, like we've been playing a match. It was a really long match, but that moment, so you gotta sort of like learn to shut those things off. It is incredibly hard, And I think so many people have told me, which is completely true, you cannot just completely shut it off. You have to be like, I'll come back to that thought later. And apparently it's easier for your mind to be like, okay, I'm gonna let it go and focus what's going on now. Because if you fight it, apparently it's like,
when you fight against it, it only gives you more power. It comes back. You're feeding it.
it's like, what's happening here?
How do you balance professional pickleball life and personal life then?
Really hard. I'm gone all the time. Trust. You gotta trust. And if you are real, I think, with your friends and family and your loved ones, and they trust that following your heart and really doing what's right, they will stand behind you and same thing back. I trust that they're doing the right thing. I think I see a lot of people who are married on tour or couples, and somebody's staying home, and I know it is hard. And it's very easy to say, oh, I want you to be here, and then vice versa. But if you truly trust, and you're really, on the same page.
How does your brother take it now since you...
As a joke, I didn't even know how this duper works, because first for a while I was checking, but then I remember winning really good matches, and I looked at it and my duper went down. And I'm like, what did I do wrong here? But I looked at it after Texas and my duper went up. But when I searched for it and I put my last name and both of our names came up at the same time and mine was higher, so I screenshot and sent it to him. I thought it was the right thing to do. What is the point of this time? But my brother is married. I live in Columbus. He has 2 kids. He's an attorney, so he's busy, so he cannot be at tournaments with me. But even though he doesn't tell me, I'm pretty sure he's proud of me, I hope. And my mom, who, like I said, the only time she has watched me play was when I was playing the 4-5 mixed doubles with my brother at the US Open. She doesn't know how to count at pickleball. She doesn't know how to score. But I feel like there's a lot of people, even the ones that play, don't know how to score. So she doesn't know how to score. And even if she watched it, she watched afterwards, she watched the match I played with Anna Lee, and she said, there was no commentator, so I had no idea who was winning any of those points. But my mom was a huge part of my tennis. She was with me on every tournament. We traveled together. My mom was younger than I am today. We left home and I was born in the communist system. I was very young when it broke down in 1991, and we left, soon after. She sacrificed a lot and left a lot behind to help me play tennis and help my brothers have a better life and coming to America. As I'm sure you know how that is for parents, and she sacrificed a lot. So we've been through incredibly a lot. A lot of good times, a lot of hard times, a lot of rocky roads together. But, she's part of my life, incredibly involved in my life. And when I won my first pro gold in pickleball, I called her. I said, Mom, I won. And she said, well, did you do the best you can play? And I'm like, well, if you put it that way, no, but I won. So, and then, we moved on, and when I won my first PPA gold, I called her again, and she's like, well, did you play the best you could? And I was like, but, and then when I told her that I won in semis, she asked me the same thing, and I was like, no, I think I played okay, but she thought I played okay. She thought so. But, it's a different journey for me in pickleball, because she's not so much involved anymore. I always tell all my friends who care and my family, don't watch. No, because it's you're watching on TV. There's nothing you can do. You're getting stressed out. Do I really want to have somebody having a heart attack because I'm playing pickleball? Absolutely not. When I'm done, I'll tell you the score, and you can probably fast forward to half of it and just watch a couple of good shots and be done with it. I watched my brothers play college tennis. Watching is awful. If watching somebody you care is awful. Playing it is easy. Playing sport is easy, but watching somebody you care win or lose is awful.
Everything gone through from personal life to professional life, did it help you develop a philosophy on life?
I do believe that we are all products of our environment, every single person. So we are all shaped by everything we've been through in life, every single thing, everything you see people do whatever you like, good things or bad things. It is, or it's bad things that we think it's bad things. It is absolutely, we're products of our environments. We've definitely been through a lot. If we have more time, I can tell you stories, but it's crazy a lot, and we've been through so many different countries and seen so many different things, and definitely shaped the way I see life. And I think you have to live one day at a time, enjoy one day at a time. If not, it's just so much going on. It's too hard to bear.
Yes. I guess going forward for yourself, where do you want to go take your pickleball career?
I do believe I want to be involved in pickleball for the rest of my life. I fall in love with the sport that I thought no grown human should be playing. And I want to play pro till I love it, till my body allows it, till I'm healthy. I got asked the other day, do you get nervous? Do you still get nervous when you play before you play? And I said, the day I stop being nervous, I'm done. Because that nervous means you care. That nervous means you want to be there, and that nervous means you love it. Till I get nervous, I want to play. I want to improve my mixed doubles, and that is one of my next goals, to work on it. And I am definitely venturing out and doing other things. I am in talks with people and making my own paddle. So we'll see, just explore, learn more. I am decently good at teaching and kind of like expressing what a player should be doing in court. I did 3 clinics actually here at the Pickleball conference. One was with kids, and they were from ages of like 5 to like 15. And they were so much fun, and you see the joy in their face when you learn something, when you give them ball and they hit it over. I mean, it just like warms your heart. It's so incredible. So definitely go into that at some point. The good thing about living in our era, the opportunities they can do so much that people didn't have.
Yes, the access of everything, technology, resource.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody approached me the other day and say, I'd like to clone you online, where you actually become a real person online, and you don't have to be talking to them, and the clone would respond just like you. Imagine the opportunities on there. Like, yeah. It could be endless.
It's looking back, what legacy you want to leave behind within pickleball for yourself?
Well, I love singles, right? I really hope that people watching and can learn things that I bring, whatever it's ground strokes or whatever. But I do want to say this, that age is just a number, and old and young is just a word. And I hope I can prove to a lot of people that please go out there, please be active, take care of your body, love your body. I think I learned so much when my mom got sick about health, and I learned so much about the healthcare system. But I learned so much about health and how to take care of your body. And the number one thing is, if you love yourself, like really, truly love, you will take care of yourself. You will find the right way for you. And please love yourself and go and be active. Go move and play. You can, as a human, we're most incredible machines, and we can do absolutely anything. I believe that 100%.
Classic saying, be the change you want to see in the world.
Yes.
You're living up to that.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I'm a huge animal lover. I cannot say that I transitioned to being plant-based because of animals. I don't think I had enough education back then to know the harm we're doing when we're eating animals and all that. But the more I learned, and whatever you can do to help the environment, whatever you can do out there to, not kill another animal because you're having breakfast, in my belief is we should do, because it does send out good karma in the world.
Yes. That was very beautifully put.
Thank you.
Anything else you wanted to add to learn about you?
I mean, I don't know. It feels like right now, everything I do and everything happens is out there on social media, and people text me personally all the time, and I have so many questions. Like, they'd be like, how do you do your paddle? What grip do you use? And all this. And I'm always honest. I'm always open, and always tell them there's absolutely nothing to hide. I'll be like, hey, this is how I do my paddle. I actually send videos of how I send my paddles to people I've never met. And I don't like when pro players hide stuff. I don't like, it's not a secret. Just like today's era with all the videos and stuff, we know like how Rafael Nadal trained. We have all the information. We know how Roger Federer practiced. why don't you just give everybody all the information, make it fair. If somebody can train like Roger Federer and Nadal, please be my guest. You know how hard that is? But yeah, go do that. So I don't like when there's secrets on like, I'm not going to tell you what kind of paddle I use. I'm not going to tell you how it's made. Like, really just share. Just tell us everything, and then the best person will do the best. And most of people who love pickleball, what was the number we were listening to together the other day? Was it how many million people are playing pickleball? 35 million. Do we have 200 pros? We probably do have 200.
Yeah.
Between men and women, we must have 200 pros. So we are a very, very small part of the actual what's pickleball is going on. And I think it's almost our duty to tell people how to make their pickleball better. Show them, this paddle will help you get better. This glove will get you better. Eating like this will help you enjoy it more. Maybe be a little fitter on the court, play a little longer. So anytime I hear an interview when a pro says, oh, or maybe it's a paddle with a fake, paint on it, it's actually a different paddle, it always makes me say, like, really? Always makes me, but everyone has their own path. Everyone has their own road of getting there, and whatever makes them feel comfortable. I'm always very open on all this stuff, and whatever the question is, like, what do you do? I'll tell you immediately without thinking absolutely honestly what I'm doing.
If you announce that, I think you get a lot of messages. You have to just...
I do, and I do get a lot of messages. And I get all kinds of messages. I have people teaching me exactly how to play. I'll be getting ready to play somebody, and I'll get somebody's 3-page email telling me step by step how to play this person. And I'm like, well, thank you. Yeah, all kinds of fun. And I love it because the pickleball community grew so much. And in tennis, only end of my career, people came in. Actually, in tennis, people started contacting players when betting became part of it. I know. So it was a very weird experience in the beginning because only time you get contacted by a fan is when they, let's say, bet on my opponent and I won. And I'd be like, oh, I get emails, death threats. Because you beat this person, I just lost $7,000 or something. I'll find you and I'll hurt you, like that, stuff like that. Now, in today's era, so many people have access to, to all us. And especially pickleball, any amateur can be on the court next to Ben Johnson, afterwards can come up and talk to him. And that is beauty of pickleball. That is incredible. That is part of it. And I love it. People are saying that will go away soon. I hope it doesn't. I really hope that doesn't go away. Again, because we're such a small part of real pickleball. And if us playing, if us being next court to them, if us talking to them helps it grow even more, let's keep that as long as possible. Let's give them access to everything we do. I think there should be some kind of like website or something where they can email you, can I have a lesson like tomorrow here? Something like that so they have more access to the pros.
Yeah.
I know different players have different views on this. Some players think it should be absolutely separate from amateurs, but we're not big enough yet to separate it. If we were in thousands female and thousands men, maybe then, but not yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet. We're at the beginning.
Very, very beginning.
You have such a unique perspective from a pro perspective. What do you see the direction of pickleball in the future?
So much discussion on this. I think there are people out there who think it should go in direction as wrestling. It's a show and everything should be preset and controlled. And sometimes I do see sort of like small influences of that. And just because of my background, that bothers me. It doesn't mean it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. Do they want to see a draw that is made for real, like the way it's supposed to be in the 1 seed, 2 seed, to absolutely followed by rules? Or do they want to see sad matches and then basically knowing this player is going to win and this player's not? Like, I don't know what public wants to see yet. Sometimes I hear from people and you go on the internet and they're complaining that the draw is fake and they're not going to watch it today because this is not real. And then you'll read that, hey, I love seeing the same people playing semifinals and finals every single day. So I'm not sure what that is. I mean, just because I am come from tennis background again, and I also, maybe also a little bit because I come from a different culture, I want to see it grow, just like tennis did,
Yes.
give it equal rights to everybody. I want to have everybody to have access to all the paddles, have the same testing for everybody, have the good draw, same kind of, I'm not going to go in there, but have refs call the same kind of lines for everybody, and better player win. Am I right to want that? I don't know yet. Again, we're in the very beginning, and time will show. And I'm sure if it goes one way and we see people not liking it and it's declining, they're smart, very, very smart people, head of PPA and head of Pro Pickleball, and it might shift the other way. And now you hear there are already more tours coming on. I just heard somebody, making an international tour. So who knows where we'll be in 1 year from today.
So also make it exciting, unforeseeable future.
Sure, absolutely.
As of right now, I feel like all of us, you, me, we're all brand ambassadors to pickleball.
Yes.
Promoting the sport.
A lot of, I don't know how to say the word, but basically a lot of weight on our shoulders because we got to be good ambassadors because I think, players that are like 4, 5, 6 years old now, and in 10 years' time, will look back at us and judge us and be like, hey, what are they talking about? Whenever.
What do you think about MLP?
So I decided not to play MLP. 2023, I got an email saying you're one of the top picks for the Challenger League. 2023, I played the full schedule of APP and pretty much a full schedule of PPA. It was over 24 weeks. So I was completely exhausted. And, I said, if when everybody goes MLP, I take a break, it's not a bad thing. And when 2023 came to an end, I was absolutely exhausted. I think the issue with MLP is I know what they're going for, and the idea is great. The idea is really good. The team sport is really good, but it is really hard. It's going to take a lot of years for fans to follow it like New Yorkers follow the Knicks or, Las Vegas follow the Raiders. It's really hard. It's going to take a long time. Also, the problem is that the players change. So, if you have every MLP, you have a different player on a team, who is the fan following? Are we following the name of the team? Or do we like that player? And I know they're setting more rules for replace that. I think this year somebody was telling me you can only replace one player for every team. In a special occasion, you can replace 2 maybe if something gets injured or something like that. And I really hope there's a large, very smart, highly paid team working in place to make this more exciting for the fans, because it will take more fans to make MLP work. But I hope it works because it is a lot of fun to watch. I mean, it really is fun to watch.
We just hope they work it out and you get a better contract.
I chose to be a free agent. Don't have a contract with anybody. I think it suits me. It suits the way I approach the game. It suits me because I'm also older than most players I play. I get to pick and choose when I want to play, I want to go. This year I've been playing mainly PPAs, and I've been having a great time and enjoying it. The one thing to know behind the scenes, those, girls and guys and those people work so hard at tournaments. I mean, behind the scenes, it's mayhem, and they're working really, really hard. It's great to see. As I play and every week I learn something new and have more experience, so is the tours. Paddle companies. What was the number that we heard? There's how many paddle companies?
Over 1,000.
Over 1,000
Yeah, newer.
paddle company. Feels like anyone who had an extra garage space printed the paddle. Or carved out a paddle at this point. I don't know. And then I think we have the whole paddle testing controversy going on. And did you guys see the headline that a sticker fell off somebody's paddle? And so somebody's playing in Sacramento. The approved seal fell off. It fell in the kitchen. And they took the point away. They lost the point. The paddle touched the kitchen. Fall to the fall. At some point, fall to the fall. That was funny and probably will never happen again. I know it was really hot here this past week. One of my friends on tour texted me that it was 110 on the court with 105% humidity. So obviously that would happen. Paddle testing, you hear stories from the brands, from the paddle companies, and then you hear the stories from the paddle testing people. And then, now we have USAP testing and we have they're called pro labs, the other people. So they're testing. I've had paddles that passed with flying colors at one and completely failed at the other one. I have to go to a tournament with at least 6 or 8 paddles.
Just in case.
And I usually leave 1 or 2, and the other ones will fail. The testing companies will tell me it's quality control, they're doing a bad job. The paddle companies will be like, oh, absolutely not. Our paddles are incredibly well controlled. We know exactly what goes in them. We test every single paddle before we send it out, but they're saying that just so they charge us.
Yes.
So it's a whole thing, but again, learning curve.
Yes.
And I hope they figure it out.
On the conference, I heard somebody best describe it. It's like the wild, wild west right now.
It is, and I really hope it calms down sooner. I mean,
Yes.
And, Sam made a very good point. I'm not sure if this is time to put a limit on the paddles. We should have some kind of testing, and we should definitely have that everybody's playing with the same
standard.
Brand comes up with a new really good paddle, and they're like, if it's just like inch over, we're going to fail the entire company. I don't know if that's right. I definitely don't know, and I'm not sure if anyone knows what really happened with the Gen 3 Yola thing, whether it was just a paper issue, whether the paddles, was it, I don't know what happened. I hope they sort it out, and, I played 8 months with Gen 1 Yola, and it was a great paddle. I have many golds with that paddle, and I loved it. I enjoyed it. It's a good brand, and I hope they sort it out. I don't know what happened. And I think I said this when I was on stage. The only thing that bothers me is whether it's Pro Labs or USAP, they approved. I don't think they should approve a paddle and have their sponsored players play with it if it's not available for the market. I think if a paddle is in a player's hand, whether it's 1 player, 6 players, 12 players, or even every pro, it should be available to sell to the public. Every amateur should be walking in a pickleball store, go on pickleballcentral.com or whatever website it is, and buy that paddle. It's actually there's I don't know if I have a screenshot of it. It's like a sentence in the USAP pickleball rule, and the question is, let's say a paddle gets approved, and it's there's a doubt about 3-4 weeks into it. There's a doubt. How do you proceed? And what it says is, we start to undercover. We ask questions to basically public and see how it plays. We get feedback from basically random players, whether it's pros or amateurs, whether we take this paddle and cut it up, and basically this. My question is, if it's not available to the public, where are you gonna get this from?
Yeah.
You cannot ask the 5 players or 6 players that is getting paid by that company, because they're all gonna say it's like incredible, whether they like the paddle or not. I'm not saying that absolutely every Yola player out there loved the Gen 3, but we will never know because they're not allowed to say it. Definitely, I'm really, really, of course I am because I'm a pro pickleball player, but I'm really pro sponsors giving advantage to their players, paying them a lot of money, because that is our livelihood. Without sponsors, we're not going to be around. So thank you very much to every sponsor out there, whether they're mine or not. But I do think there should be some kind of control. Playing on any court, it should be available for sale.
So you kind of skirted around it a few times, but you're kind of unique in that you're a free agent and you play on both tours.
Mm-hmm.
What's the similarities and differences between playing on APP and PPA? And is it a good thing for pickleball to have multiple pro tours, or should these also be combined like MLP and PPA did?
I am definitely pro combining it, but I do see the reasons why they were. I would say they both have their ups and downs, their difficulties and their strengths. I got to know pretty much personally a lot of people on APP, and I know them well, and they're trying their hardest. I don't know PPA staff and everybody that personally yet, but I also see how hard everybody's working. I love that they both started to explore internationally. Obviously, I'm from Georgia, and bringing the sport to different places, great. Difference is everybody's trying to make every event better, and I can see that. And APP is making their difference better. The I mainly started playing PPA not because of, I just really love competing against the top players. I really love competing against Catherine and Leia and Annalie Waters and Paris and Lauren and all those girls. And it really made sense for me in this stage I was in my career this year to play all the PPA singles tournaments. I actually did play a couple APPs playing mixed doubles this year. I mean, they have their own paths. They have their own visions. They have their own support system behind it that we don't see up front. And this is a lot of decisions that these people make. And you hear the crowd get angry or in social media. But, there's so many people involved in every single decision this companies make. There's not one person sitting there saying, you do this, you do this. No, there's like huge decisions are made and there's player panels and all that. So I actually watched APP have pretty much incredible video replay now and watching that. And I thought like, wow, this is incredible. And then I read a post on Kitchen, is it the Kitchen? That PPA is coming with something like that really soon. So I think they're learning from each other and getting better. But because, again, going back to tennis, the WTA, the ATP, and even they're talking about becoming one now, WTA and ATP in tennis. So because the money is so spread and there's not really unlimited amount of money, we have way less money than tennis. So I think combining and being one big strong family will make sense. They're not ready yet.
The other question I have is, as someone else who's also kind of particular about their paddle setup, you had mentioned that the glove helped with stickiness or tackiness so that you don't have to hold the grip as hard. Does it affect how often you re-grip your paddle with overgrips and stuff?
I definitely overgrip way less. I use Turna grip. Like I said earlier, my favorite grip. I use the Turna Blue Tacky. That's the grip I love. It definitely wears way less. One of the concerns I had when I first started using the glove was I'm one of those players who switches their grip all the time. So I'll hit a forehand in a different grip. My backhand is a different grip. My volley is a different grip. My serve is a different grip. And I'm constantly spinning the paddle. I mean, I saw a video of me the other day that I looked a little crazy, but I was standing there and then just going like, okay, well, now I'm crazy. Spinning, but this is so stuck to your hand. It's so tacky that it doesn't bother it at all. And it is saving the grip a little bit more than if you're playing the heat like this, you're going to change your grip because you'll be sweating. But on average, it is definitely saving the grip.
And can you get me one?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, all can have one. Thank you for having me. I'll be back for a tournament, but I want to come out and play some pickleball with you guys.
Awesome. Yes, for sure. Where would our fans be able to find you online?
So I've had Facebook since like 2010, maybe. A very long time. But it was basically locked and just for... So I could send pictures of my nephews to my dad and stuff like that. And recently I unlocked it and made it not so much about my private, made it more public. And it was a transition. It was kind of like, oh, like an era ended, like that. But and on my Facebook, just my name and Instagram, Salome.1pb. Again, if anyone has any questions about silly stuff in pickleball or something that's important to them, please reach out. And I love connecting to fans.
I feel like today we learned so much about Salome, from her personal life and career, and for sure we'll get her back on the show next time she's in Vegas. So make sure to tune in and subscribe for next time. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Shout out to Vegas Indoor Pickleball for sponsoring this podcast. If you're looking for a top-notch indoor facility to play pickleball, head over to vegasindoorpickleball.com and book your court today. Stay tuned for more insightful chats with amazing personalities as we explore pickleball and life.